I got my first tablet, and it died in the first 3 months that I got it. And everybody pitched in and bought me a tablet. My Facebook people pitched in, and I got a Samsung. It wasn't that expensive, but it was a nice tablet, and I didn't pay a penny for it. And I kept writing. I go to the community center, and I would write at the community center when I had a chance, and then I'd go to Dropbox and put in the Dropbox and then send it right to the computer. And the thing was that my husband, we needed the computer at night, so that's why I needed the tablet, because I needed it at night to write. And I did. Then this is what happened. This is really, really strange. But after 2 years or so, I came down with bronchitis. I was sick. I went to the doctor, and the first thing that happened was, am I allowed to say this on the air about the thing with the situation with the bed bugs? Is that okay?
Heck yeah, I think that is something that a lot of people can relate to, Joyce. So don't hold back at all.
I'm going to hold back. We had a bed bug problem in our house, and this went on for a whole year. It's really very hard to get rid of. Yep. And I suggest that anybody who has clothing, throw it in the dryer for 15 minutes, it will kill them. But we didn't know this information. I learned 2 things. I learned from somebody else who had the problem that either you stay sane or you go insane. And what happened to me, basically, was I went a little crazy. And Tommy came by one day, and my leg was killing me, and he wanted to touch my leg. And I was told by a spiritual person that spirits are not supposed to touch you because it can make the situation worse. So I said to Tommy, don't touch me. And Tommy said, okay. He said, I just wanted to find out where the pain was and see if I could help. And what happened was, a couple of days later, I'm waking up from sleep, and I hear Tommy's voice, and Tommy says, Joyce, you have to go to the doctor. I'm like, why do I have to go to the doctor? I don't hear his voice anymore. And I knew my leg was hurting me. I said, well, if my leg hurts me today, I'll go to the doctor. The next day, my leg was killing me, and I didn't know why. And I heard Tommy again say, Joyce, you have to make an appointment and go for a blood test and go to your doctor. So I made the appointment. It was on Thursday that he told me. I went on Monday to get the blood test. On Tuesday, my doctor called me back, and the doctor said to me, Joyce, if you didn't come in any sooner, you would have been on dialysis or dead. And this is true.
Oh, my goodness. Because of the leg was a problem from the kidney, right?
Yes. It was a symptom of the kidney problem.
Yeah.
And and because of the bedbug situation, I forgot to go to my doctor to check on my meds to see, how I was doing. So I missed that appointment, and it was 6 months later. And Tommy let me know. He let me know.
Yeah. Well, not only do you have someone feeding you parts of your story and kind of guiding you with the plot, you've got a protector out there as well.
Yeah, he was protecting me. And it was really weird because with the bedbug situation that we had, we had bags everywhere. I told Tommy, believe it or not, I said, I can't deal with this. We had to prep for it, and we had to throw everything in bags, and I couldn't do it. And Tommy said, look, he says, just put a couple of things in the bag, and before you know it, you'll be all done. And I started putting things in a bag, and before I knew it, we had everything in bags, and Tommy was like, kudos to me. And what happened was I started getting pains through my entire body, and I had to go see a psychiatrist, believe it or not, because I was on sleep medicine at that point because I couldn't sleep at night. And I went to a psychiatrist, and he put me on Librium. Now, Tommy, believe it or not, and I told him a long time ago, I told him I used to, when I was reckless, I used to take Librium and Yukon Jack together, and
Whoa.
I didn't care if I woke up or not.
Yeah.
And he wrote me, actually, I don't know if it's a song or some kind of poem called I Should Have Known Better. And it was all about me and my habit of taking the Yukon Jack and Librium. And he was so scared that I was going to go get the Yukon Jack. And I told him, no, I'm just going to take the Librium. It's going to be okay and everything. But he was very scared because he, in his lifetime, took some drugs himself.
Mm-hmm.
That was the rock star way, I guess.
Yeah.
So basically, I ended up a couple of months later, and with this whole bed bug thing, we threw everything in a shed. And water came into the shed. Somehow it came in. One of the nails came off the shed, and water came in, and it drenched everything. It ruined everything. Everything I had. Now, we got somebody to come in to take everything out. Tommy went outside, and he started counting the bags, because I couldn't see because the shed was in the way. And he said to me, Joyce, I took out 80 bags. They took out 80 bags. I'm like, what? He said, yeah, counted them. And the thing with me is I'm always skeptical until the next confirmation.
Right.
So I went outside, and I asked the guy before even going in the shed, how many bags did you take away? And he said, we took about 80 bags away. And I was, blown away by that. I went in the shed and saw 1/3 of my things there. That was it. I had just in a little corner some stuff. All my clothes was destroyed.
Uh-huh.
I had to go to this place to get new, just clothing, and my resistance went down, really down. And a month later, I came down later on with bronchitis. I went to the doctor. I was sitting there at the doctor's office, and Tommy was pacing back and forth, and he said, I'm going to see what's taking the doctor so long. He says, he's coming soon. Came back and says, he's coming in 5 minutes. I look at my watch, make sure it's 5 minutes. I didn't believe it. I've been waiting for close to an hour for the doctor to come in, and then the doctor comes in 5 minutes later, which is another confirmation to me. And the doctor said I had bronchitis and sinusitis. And he said, I'm going to put you on an antibiotic, but the only thing is you cannot take your cholesterol medicine because it will affect you. I said, well, what will it do? He says, it will kill you. I'm like, whoa. And when those words were said, it clicked in Tommy's mind because when I came to the house, Tommy said, I'm not leaving you. He said, you take the antibiotic. I'm going to make sure you don't touch those cholesterol pills, because I know you're feeling really woozy and you don't know what you're doing all the time.
Uh-huh.
So he kept warning me. Every time I went to touch it, he warned me. And I did take the antibiotic, and I didn't feel very well, and Tommy was there. I said, Joyce, you're going to be okay, And he said, just rest, and you'll be okay. And he said, I want you to take chicken soup and drink tea with honey. That was his thing. And he asked me what kind of things I wanted in my chicken soup. And I said, I don't know. He said, I like crackers. He said, you like the little fishies? I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess I would. And now, here's something that's very interesting. I'm the kind of person that uses the washroom quite a bit. And I would use the word pee. And Tommy did not like that word. He said, we don't do that. We piddle. I said, what? I had to look up the word to make sure I knew what it was. And it's British, believe it or not, for urination.
Yep,
and
yep.
I was, yeah. And I couldn't believe it. Now, Tommy was with me. I went into a period where I couldn't talk for a month with the bronchitis because I was coughing so much that I could not even speak. And we watched The Magic Christian. And I remember Tommy told me to stand up, and when they were singing, I guess, God Save the Queen, it showed a dollar bill with the Queen on it. He said, stand up. I'm like, Tommy, I'm too sick to stand up. He says, you're supposed to stand up. You have to show respect to the Queen. So I stood up. And then we watched The Magic Christian. And then later on, Tommy, my ribs were cracked, believe it or not, from coughing. Tommy made a joke, and it made me laugh so much that I told him, don't ever do that again because it really hurt. And he never did it again. I finally got over the bronchitis, thank goodness. And then all of a sudden, everybody in my group, because I wrote through all the bronchitis.
Oh.
I just wrote and wrote and wrote. And it got weirder and weirder and weirder. And everybody liked it that way. And then I got people saying, publish it. My group was yelling, publish the story. This is a good story. Just publish it. And I sat, believe it or not, a whole year on it because I never thought about publishing it. It was in a certain format, and I didn't know what to do. And Tommy said, it's a real good story. You should publish it. He told me that. And I said, okay, what I'm going to do is talk to other writers and see if they can do a review for me on my story. And I got back, it's in the wrong format. It's in third and first person. What do you want to do, third person or do you want to do first person? And I'm like, oh my gosh, all this stuff. And I had 800 pages, maybe a little bit more than 800. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And Tommy said, he said, maybe you should take it and do something with it. And I said, okay. So I went ahead and I turned it around. I looked at some different things on Google, how to do narration, and I got some examples from other writers, and I turned the whole story around within 2 weeks. I worked like a demon.
Oh, my goodness. You must have. And
I worked very hard.
Speaking of the story, getting weirder and weirder as you get into these 800 pages, I think it would be fascinating. Not that we're going to give away any major plot lines or anything, but can you describe a little bit about how Tommy it goes on this very interesting journey in heaven and meets all these famous people? Do you want to kind of flesh out that story a little bit?
Well, basically, he meets certain people that actually are reoccurring characters like Janis Joplin and Cass Elliot and Mel Evans, and they are sort of the cornerstone for Tommy's search for Pete. Yeah. And he meets others as well, like Karen Carpenter. What I did was I had a poll, and I said, who do you want Tommy to meet next? And I got back Karen Carpenter, Dennis Wilson, Jim Ellison, and all these other rock stars. And then I got back Harry Nilsson.
Oh, my gosh.
I could not believe it. And I wrote about Harry Chafin, but I don't want to give that away at all.
Okay.
Because that in itself is very strange.
Oh, I'll bet.
Oh, my gosh.
I have to tell you, Joyce, that you mentioned Karen Carpenter, who was one of my heartthrob, musicians when I was a kid and stuff. I just thought she was so beautiful, and of course, her voice is just amazing. That was one of the most amazing voices of the 70s and 80s that I ever heard, for sure. And I actually, at one point in college, got to work a concert, at the college I was at when the Carpenters came through and gave a concert. And I got to be the, one of the backstage guards, security guys,